When documenting your plumbing design, you will typically create riser diagrams and underfloor views. In this model, there is a restroom group in the south portion of the building. When I zoom into the restroom group, all you can see is a clutter of piping. Even though the pipes are color-coded according to the system in which they are assigned, it's hard to tell which system is which. If there were only one or two fixtures, it may be possible to actually see what's going on in plan view. Since that is not the case, we need to create a riser diagram. Riser diagrams are extremely important for areas like this, where multiple plumbing fixtures are in the same area. There are a few ways to create riser diagrams in Revit. You could create a 3D view and orient the view to a section or callout to show a specific area. Then you can turn systems off depending on the riser diagram that you are creating. The other methods involve creating drafting views. In a drafting view, you could manually sketch a riser diagram or import a CAD file in which you had sketched a riser diagram. Let's take a look at using a 3D view for a riser diagram. As you can see, I have two section views to show additional detail of this restroom group. Section 1 is horizontal and Section 2 is vertical. I'll switch to the 3D plumbing plan view. Then, I'll right-click on the view cube and choose Orient to View, Sections, Section 2. When I do, a section box is enabled, and Revit adjusts the extents of the section box to match the extents of the section view. I'll orient the 3D view so we can see all the piping and plumbing fixtures better. Once the view is oriented properly, you can lock the view. To lock the view, on the View Control bar, click Unlocked 3D View. From this menu, choose Save Orientation and Lock View. Now you can tag elements and add keynotes or text as needed to document this view. You can also turn on the crop region and crop the view if needed. Next, I'll open the Visibility Graphic Overrides dialog by clicking the Edit button in the Properties palette. In the dialog, I'll switch to the Filters tab. Revit creates a few default view filters. As you can see, there is a filter for sanitary, domestic cold water, and domestic hot water. I'll turn off the two domestic filters and then click OK. Now I have a riser diagram for the sanitary waste and vent system. In the project browser, I'll right-click on the 3D plumbing plan view. From the shortcut menu, I'll choose Rename. I'll rename the view Waste and Vent Riser, and then click OK. Next, I'll right-click on the view again and choose Duplicate View, Duplicate with Detailing. Then I'll rename the view Domestic Supply Riser. At this point, we need to adjust the visibility of the systems. Open the Visibility Graphic Overrides dialog for the view and switch to the Filters tab. Turn off the visibility of the sanitary system and then turn on the visibility of the domestic hot and cold water systems. We also need to turn off the visibility of the vent system. However, there is not a filter for this system. To add the filter, click Add. Revit has several other default view filters, but does not add each one to every view. As you can see, there is already a vent filter. So select Vent in the Add Filters dialog and click OK. Now turn off the visibility of the vent system and then click OK to close the Visibility Graphic Overrides dialog. As you can see, only the domestic hot and cold water systems are visible now. If you need to show the vent system differently, you can go back to the Waste and Vent Riser and add the vent filter there, as well as modify the graphic overrides. Remember that if you do not wish to show riser diagrams in this way, you can create drafting views and manually sketch the riser diagrams. Additionally, you may need to create underfloor plans. In this model, an underground plumbing plan has already been created. We'll create another one though. You can create an underfloor plan view by starting with the Level 1 plan view. For example, I'll right-click on the Level 1 plumbing plan view in the project browser. In the shortcut menu, I'll select Duplicate View, Duplicate with Detailing. Next, I'll right-click on the copy and choose Rename. I'll name this view Underfloor Plumbing, and then click OK. Since the original view had a view template assigned, we need to change it for this view. In the Properties palette, click the button next to View Template. In the Apply View Template dialog, select None, and then click OK. Now, scroll down to the Extents section in the Properties palette. Click the Edit button next to View Range to open the View Range dialog. To create an underfloor view, we just need to move the view range down. I'll change the bottom and view depth to -5 feet, or -1,500 millimeters in the metric file. Then I'll change the top and cut plane to 6 inches, or 150 millimeters in the metric file. Then I'll click OK to apply the changes and close the View Range dialog. Back in the drawing area, we can see the piping below grade. Depending on the design, you may need to decrease the bottom of the view in order to show everything. But as you can see, creating an underfloor view is accomplished by simply adjusting the view range.